So my first video covering Smite hard counters did really well, and you know there's more than just 10 hard counters in a game as large as Smite, so today we're going to be doing a part 2. I had a few additional ones ready to go when making the first video, and you guys left some truly disgusting suggestions in the comments below too, so we've got plenty of ammo for another top 10. We're really close to 90k subs as I record this, so if you're on the fence about subscribing, it'd mean a lot to me and the Nation if you'd enlist. I post 3 times a week and you can get all that Smite knowledge beamed directly into your mind on time. But enough of that, let's jump in with our first disgusting hard counter. So at number 10 we have Yemoja into tier, specifically in the solo lane laning phase. So for anyone not yet enlightened in the way of the snack, Yorm is completely immune to being displaced in any way because of his sheer size. Instead, he gets slowed and takes increased damage. Well, tier is, for lack of a better word, all about them knockups and pushes. His 1 in guard stance won't knock up, but most importantly, his entire bread and butter fearless power cleave combo in assault stance just straight up doesn't work against Yorm. And since it's not temporary knockup immunity like many characters have, it's permanent, so tier can't really do much at all in this matchup at any time than just farm up and try and force the issue. Because his chances of killing Yorm without Fearless working properly and Yorm's infamous get out of jail free card in his ultimate are slim to none against a good player. Number 9 is a perfect example of the hive mind being able to come up with more disgusting counters than any single individual. Several of you guys suggested in my previous video that the true hardest counter involving Appollos should go to Baba Yaga, Chiron and Cerberus. Since these 3 gods have no real control over when they heal themselves, Appollos can pretty much guarantee that he'll get the stun and extra damage on his 3 every time. With Cerberus, Appollos has full control over it since he just heals himself with a corpse, which triggers Cerberus's passive to heal him, and that's all she wrote. Whereas Chiron and Baba Yaga technically can stop it happening, but they literally have to not use abilities in Chiron's case or not use your ult in Baba's case. Definitely hard counters worthy of the list. Whips and chains don't excite Zeus, especially when they're coming from one of his hardest counters, Adashi. To start with, Zeus has no CC immunity built in like many gods do on their ultimate, so it's free pulls all day for Adashi if the Zeus ever gets his beads forced in a fight. But on top of that, Zeus's main way to self-peel is drop his entire kit on his feet, which Adashi can easily just avoid by pressing 4. Stay on the parallel long enough and when you come back down, Zeus's ult and shield will be gone and you could just run him down for free at that point. Just make sure you don't get 3 charges of Detonate on you as Adashi before ulting at low health. That's going to be a bad time. Despite liking Ravens herself, Knox will shut down any bird bomb from Odin faster than you can say GGF6 at 10. Since leaps are silenceable, Knox can place her 2 at her feet to effectively stop any offensive leap from hitting her at all. Since the leap connects with the ground right as it deals its damage, it enters Nox's persistent silence field and just fizzles out. This includes the Raven Shout shield that makes Odin's bird bombs so deadly to a squishy like Knox, were it not for this disgustingly hard counter, that is. Next up at number 6 we have Bellona into Mercury using her block stacks. So this one applies to a fair few characters that rely very heavily on basics for damage. I picked Mercury as one of the better examples since he does his damage in a small number of insanely high damage crits, instead of a god like Baka or Kali that do their damage in many smaller hits. This makes Merc especially vulnerable to Bellona's block stacks on her 1, since denying a 1000 damage crit and reflecting 300 of that back at him is way better value per block stack than denying a 300 damage auto and reflecting 100 back. But as I said, this kind of counter does apply to a fair few gods in a very disgusting way. And that's not even to mention Bellona's disarm, which can stop people basic attacking for a long ass time. Breaking into the top 5, we have another classic Artio counter. This time she's making King Arthur suffer. But in reality, many gods that rely on movement abilities heavily and or for some of their damage will suffer against her. King Arthur is of course one of the best examples there is for that, given he literally has 3 abilities that are unusable under Artio's cripple for 6 entire seconds if she can stay on him. Which again is not difficult to do when he can't use movement skills. These same 3 abilities can also be interrupted on a moment's notice by Artio, since the cast time of her Druid 2 and Bear 2 are both basically instant. Arthur's combo stance 3 specifically gets ruined by Artio's constant interrupts. It's just really not a good matchup for him in any way.
Hi, Phil Swift here for
Jeb Shield,
the super strong
hardest counter in Smite.
So at number 3 we have Yemoja into Zhong Kui. This is another one where a few other picks work just as well. The idea here is that Zhong is very reliant on his ultimate to do work in teamfights, and Yemoja could just hit the deny button at any time on that and waste Zhong Kui's entire ult while up in the sky. Other picks that work for this are Heim with his super long duration ult, Kumba's ult works well, Freya's 3 and Arthur's ult as well, as long as they don't get cleansed by beads early. And probably a few others as well. Since Zhong is only knock up and slow immune in his ultimate, he has no immunity to banishes, and all these characters can exploit that really well. Taking the penultimate spot on the list, list we have Cabrakan into Knox. So this counter is outright Cabrakan. Just pop your 1 as Cabrakan and run at the Knox. It's literally that simple. Her 2 doesn't work against your 1 if you've already cast it, since it's just a basic attack augment on your next basic at that point, and it won't be stopped by silences. But also Cab's 1 makes him root immune, so Knox can't even use her 1 to stop his advance or as part of her classic 2-1 combo. Cabrakan just says no to all of that with 1 ability, and the cherry on top is Nox's inability to get out of Cabrakan's ultimate since she only has a dash. Nox players beware, there's Cabrakan about. And finally, taking the number 1 spot on the list, we have Awilix into Fenrir. People refer to him as the Unbound. Did he unbind his ability buttons or something? Because Awilix just outright denies half of his kit. First up, we have Fenrir's main engage tool, his jump with 5 runes for the stun. That gets shut down immediately by Awilix pulling him into her team instead of him stunning her. But then even if he tries to brutalize afterwards, she has Feather Step, which, although short, is indeed a cripple as well as the root, so it cancels brutalize in its tracks. With his 1 and 3 useless against her, all Fenrir can really do is become an ult bot at that point when Awilix is on the prowl. But that's it for 10 more disgusting hard counters in Smite. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to drop a like on the video before you leave, and I'll catch you guys in another one later on. Have a great day, and peace out, you nerds.